I just realized that I can turn up and down the intensity of the light as well. So, this is Simone. I am trying to start filming all of the swatching videos that I have coming up in the coming months. This is the very first one, and this is the video where I tell you about how I swatch my inks. And then every time I share another one, you can refer back to this one if you want to know how I do things. You don't have to do anything with your inks at all. This is just something that I enjoy. I'm going to regularly film, talk through this video today. I'm not sure I'm going to do that with every single one. That just depends on my mood. Currently, I'm still in the 30 inks, 30 days high, and I feel like I miss talking to my friends. So I'm definitely going to talk through it. This box, yes, this box is all the inks that I currently have that I want to swatch. I have divided them up into 7 sets of 7 because that's how many I can put on one page. This is number 1. It's time to swatch the yellow inks. I swatch, let's zoom you back in. I swatch in a notebook. This is a standard size traveler's notebook. The notebook that I have is from Paper Penguin Co. It is 52 old Tomoe River paper, 52 GSM. Then I'm swatching on these swatch cards. I used to swatch on coloring cards, like this one, and this one I made myself. But I have moved to a Rolodex since, and now I am making my cards myself. I'm cutting them down from Canson mixed media paper, and then I am punching this with a Heidi Swap punch. I think her card is called a memory dex, her thing. And then I use a really old corner rounder to round these 2 corners here. So then that's what I'm going to do in the video. I also put the inks that I swatch into this book. This is a color swatch book from Wearingool, and I do a chromatography. I try to put like colors on the same page, and then I don't know how that is going to be put into place right now. No, I can't find the book. I also put inks into this new swatch book here that is divided up by color families. Not too deep, because I really want to be able to compare colors. So I think I have 12 or 13, like 12 different colors plus gray plus brown categories. But as I'm just starting to incorporate all of those things into my swatching process, I decided I'm not going to overcomplicate it for the videos. I'm just going to show what I've always shown, this and this, and then I will figure out how to incorporate the others, what is the best way to swatch the inks and do the chromatographies so that it's doable for me and enjoyable. So there we are. This is what we are going to start with. For this video, I am going to definitely do color chromatographies for the yellow inks. But I am not going to show those on video as well. I'm going to put all of my inks here in this perfect thing for me. This is from Fountain Pendulum. It's an ink vial holder with a pen rest. And it holds 7 samples, which is amazing because that is exactly the amount of inks that I can swatch on one page. I really love, I'm always torn because when I see other people's swatches on Instagram or YouTube and I see how much space they have, I love that. And then I look at mine and it's super crammed for some reason, but I really enjoy it. And so I decided, you know what? Enjoy the big things with the other people. I am going to enjoy doing it this way. And then in the end, when this book is done, I can still reassess and see if I want to continue in this way or if I'm going to do it, switch things up to do them differently. I feel like I need something so that I can need some clippy thing here. Maybe this is going to be enough. Maybe not, who knows. So another tool that I use is my Kakimori brass dip nib. This is in a Tachikawa pen holder that I purchased from Vanness. I really don't remember what Lisa, Vanness, and I talked about when the code expires. I have heard some people were only able to use it once. I feel like she said in October it's expiring, since this is filmed at the beginning of October and I'm not sure when this video is aired. I know that Leanne from Leanne Likes also had a code with Vanness, so maybe check out her recent video and check if she has it linked in her description box somewhere, if you would like to use a code. But I think mine expired. But this one I got from Vanness. It's super cheap, it's acrylic, and it works perfectly. I don't have to worry about, let me put this back. I don't have to worry about these other pen holders that are mostly lacquered wood and are super easy to, the wood starts to get bigger and bigger and the lacquer falls off. So this works for me really well. I have seen others where there is a lid on top. I've seen that they are available on Vanness as well, or I think even Amazon. Check around, shop around. There's a lot of alternatives to use where you can put your brass dip nib. So I need a thing underneath, and then I am swatching using cotton swabs to make the bigger pen splotches. And I think I need a card just to see how I'm doing this. So this is how it looks. So I'm just gonna put it right here off to the side and then grab out all of my old ones. I have some new ones here that I can use. I need 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's 5 only, and 7. That's okay. So I will still swatch the yellow ones on here, but off camera I will do the chromatography and put them onto the yellow page swatches, I think. Do I still have enough space here? Probably not. No, only for 3. But I will put those here and then do chromatography so we can see how they compare to this mystery ink that I have shared sometime in July maybe, or even June. And I've always said I wanted to go back and swatch some yellow inks that might work, or compare, so that we compare those. I know that Marilyn Darling, I think, is the last one who had the ink sample. I don't know if there was any ink left after that, if they sent it on to someone. And also, Marilyn, if you watch this, Did you by any chance find out what it looks closest? Okay. I had previously had a sample of Helianthus. Helianthus, that's how I would say it in German. I don't even remember. So let me just do this. 1, 2, 3. I feel like I used to do this the other way around, that I would do the square first. But, you know, is it really that important? For some people like me, it might. 2, 4, 5. See, and it needs to be a square, even if it doesn't, even if it has rounded corners. And I also don't know where to start with so that it's even, you know, that it's symmetrical, that I have the same. Yeah, life is really hard and tough. So let's measure. 10.5. Really? So 3.5. So if I put 3.5 from here, that would leave that much space. That's not enough. Let's do 4. Okay. I need a pencil. Don't have a pencil. Who am I even? Ugh. I had a sample of Helianthus previously, and I decided that I did not care for it that much. The reason why I didn't care for it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we got this. That's good. Maybe if I stick this, if I'm going to put them here, I can reuse them. If I'm doing it in the same order, I can reuse them on all the other things that I'm doing. So I have, as I said, Rohre. I think I already have another card of this, but it's okay. There. Helianthus. And then A, B, C, and A, B, C. I think what I did not enjoy about this ink when I had it in my pens, I think I had it in one pen. Pens is a little bit exaggeration. Was the fact that it was so bright and it did not have a lot of shading. But to be honest, I don't remember really. That I wasn't really able to read it. It does feel like quite the lubricated ink, because it comes off of this Klingner. Rohre und Klingner Helianthus. Helianthus is the Latin name, I think, for sunflower. And I can clearly see where that name is coming from. So either the pen that I used it in did not show much shading, or it was just so bright and yellow that even though it's legible, it wasn't legible because it was so sunny and so in my face that I could not enjoy it at all. All right. So now I'm cleaning this off, and I'm going to do this all there so that it's not taking up too much time for you and for me. This one is done, number 1. Let's put this to the side. Where is the rest of my, organization is key here. Let's put the lid back on. Oh, I need toppers. Do I have them somewhere? I thought I had them in here. Don't see any. I remember. Don't worry. What is that song? I feel like it's Genesis. My son is. Was ist schleichen in English? Sneaking. Where are you sneaking to? Can I Stop.
Can you pause for a second?
Sure. Okay, sneaking is over. Now the next color that I'm using is Robert Oster Yellow Sunset. I feel like this one, it can't really be this one, but I don't really know why. I am going to show you the ink that I used, or the ink swatch that I made in this notebook earlier. Okay, so what else am I going to do with this? When I made the swatch and swatched all of Sara's inks, the yellow one that it's too orangey brown, I think. It does look a little bit like sunset. You know what it reminds me of? The feelings that I had toward Diamine Autumn Oak. It also has this orangey, can't even really tell you what that feeling thing is that makes me queasy. It's not like I'm going to, like, it's just a weird feeling. Like, I don't have a problem with seeing blood, but this makes me unhappy. So let's do this. And then these are the cheapest whole reinforcers. They are made from paper, and what you see is basically the paper soaking in completely. And this is clean. You can't really see, but I'm usually testing before I dip it into the lid to see whether it's clean or not. I think like the most. Did anyone test Roja and Klingner Helianthus, or am I the first one? I feel like I can't be. This is, what is this? Robert Oster. Did you see how easily and readily the ink came off on here? I've been talking about noticing or being able to determine, like, very roughly from the way an ink behaves on this brass nib on how it performs in a pen. I mean, it's not rocket science, but and of course this depends on so many factors, and not just this single one, like how deep do I dip the dip nib in, how saturated is it, all that plays a role in this. However, the line width is even different here. Especially in this R, and this was fresh ink. It just fell off this nib, and it doesn't fall off this nib. And look at the broader, I tilted, of course, it's not always the exact same, but it's differently tilted, and this is broader than this. And so I can assume that this ink is better than this one, and this one might not perform as well in some pens as this one. This one, you can still see it. Okay, that's good. I'm always concerned that I'm not in frame because that's how I am. Okay, so, and it's also when I do these tilted lines, it's sometimes it's really easy to make them, like up here. Sometimes it's not. And I can assure you that this is much more legible, like in line width. Look at how this is going to come together because I don't have enough space, and because this is so fat and broad and this isn't. Yellow Sunset. Okay, so we're going up here. This. Why am I doing all of those? Because I feel like sometimes I can read different information from them, and also because it's pretty. Okay, so let me show you the color of ink. Everything that is crossed out I don't have in my stash anymore. What? That mystery ink was so far away. Here. Nope. So if this was not, wow, wow, you can see a lot. I can clearly see that. This is the sample that I have from Sara. My assumption was Van Diemen's Honeybee Eater Chin, but it is not. I was thinking maybe Raw and Klingner Helianthus, but I feel like this is lighter. It does move towards orangey hues here, but this feels like it has some lemony. It looks more lemony here, and this one is more sunflower yellow. So I don't think it's either one of those, just from the swatch on the Tomoe River paper. But let's continue and see what happens next. So that's something that I have found since a while ago. It's like the way some of these inks fall off that brass nib are a good indicator on how broad the line writes, even when I'm not holding the nib much differently. And yes, I said it before. Of course, I'm not holding it at the same angle all the time, so there might be slight variances, but in the course of writing with this nib and the ink, I will hold it the same way that I hold other inks, and I will be able to learn more about how the ink flows. I find that super fascinating. So the next one is Sunshine Yellow from Diamine. I had my cart filled with so many different yellow samples, but I don't know. The thought of having to swatch 15 yellow inks did not really appeal to me. And oh, wow. The reason why I don't use my brass nib, I think I found the ink actually. The reason why I do not use my brass nib for this is because even though it's smooth, it still has those grooves here. And if I'm not super careful, I am scratching the paper and scratching off fiber, and I don't want to do that. So that is the reason why I went back to swatching with cotton swabs. I use a brush when I ink up my pens and make an ink swatch then. And I find all of those different swatching methods to be fascinating. The reason why I find them fascinating, because they all produce different results. I mean, in the limitations of the ink color. So you don't get a green ink with a swatch when you swatch a blue ink. But sometimes they fall apart. What am I doing? I'm talking too much. I don't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. So they fall apart more when I use a paintbrush compared to this cotton swab. But I also, yeah, I don't know why I'm not using a paintbrush for this right now. Currently, I'm still using cotton swabs. Maybe I'll change that at some point. All right, this is number 6. So, jetzt, now we are back. Jetzt sind wir wieder da, wo wir sein wollten. Now we're back where we wanted to be. Diamine. Sunshine Yellow, right? Sunshine Yellow. This is an orange. But is it the same? Okay. I don't know if I made a card. Did I make a card? But the question is, what paper did I use for that? I have been experimenting with making my own swatch cards. And I tried you know, the paper that I had on hand in my stash. And I had various different kinds of mixed media papers. And the one that I enjoyed most was the Canson mixed media paper. But in the process of experimenting with different papers, sunshine, of course, I tried to use pencil and write the name of the ink, of the paper brand on the back, so I would be able to identify them, but I didn't make the same. Besides, I tried Rohre and Klingner Altgoldgrün with all the different papers, and then I chose the one paper where the swatch looked closest to the coloring paper, but I used up all the other papers as well. And then I didn't do the same ink on all the different papers. Okay, so is this the same one? It doesn't look like it. What is the last one that I have? Van Diemen's Harvest Series Beeswax. This looks too orangey already, but we will figure it out. And then I really, what's your guess? Maybe Helianthus? Helianthus looks closest now. I will do swatches. What are those? What are the things that I'm going to do? Chromatographies, and then we'll figure out which one looks closest to the one I made from the... You know what would be the funniest thing of all of those? If it was just a contaminated ink sample. I mean, that is not far-fetched considering the fact that Sara got it from a friend who forgot what yellow ink that was. Maybe it's not that far off. Well, it's too watery. I feel like it's too light, actually. I didn't expect this to be this yellow. Who didn't label it and forgot what yellow ink she put in, or they put in. And then I passed it on to Leanne. Leanne passed it on to Lorelei. And then Lorelei passed it on to Miss Marilyn Darling. So for that ink not to be contaminated by now would be a surprise. This ink is weird. I feel like it's way too watery. It's way too light. It looks orange. Oh, wow. Now I am making something bad here. Let me discard this. This one is fresh. Nope, there's nothing in here. I don't remember the ink that Sara gave me to be anywhere like this. But to be honest, I feel like these inks do very much look like they're supposed to look. Like, this looks a lot like beeswax. More, even though it's not an ink that I probably will ever use because it's so light, but it does remind me of beeswax for sure, which is a fun thing to happen. And then let's test this nib. See, are we at 13 minutes? Is this 13 or is this less than, like, did I stop? Oh yes, I stopped. So we are already probably at 20 Van Diemen's. Harvest Series Beeswax. Way too light for me. A, B, C, and A, B, C. And I feel like I have to dip. Maybe it's just because it is such a light ink that I feel it needs to be. Let's see if this comes even off here. Yeah. Sometimes when I hold it as like that and the ink is very lubricated, I don't know, it comes off and it stays that way all the way to the end, but not this one. Let's tilt it a bit up. Same here. And then all the way up here. I'm just going to write Van Diemen's here. Beeswax. And the flower. Wow. Okay, well, of all 4 of those, this one is definitely the one that I wouldn't even consider putting in a pen, because I already know that I'm going to be disappointed and it's not going to be legible for me. Now let's continue with the other inks. All of those samples I purchased from Vanness, just in different at different times. I want to explore different document inks. Wow, not prepared. Are you prepared? Are you not? No, you are not. In my TWSBI Ecos with extra fine nibs and see how they perform. And because I have TWSBI Ecos that currently don't have nibs. So I'm going to experiment with using the Nemosine nibs from Birmingham Pen Co. I don't know when they will arrive. And then I want to, maybe I'll film it. I don't know if I can see that it's going to be really messy, then I will not film it. And then I would like to try using them for sketching and just using them in my weekly journal where I use watercolors and all the different things. And this color is De Atramentis Document Black Blue. Okay. No yellow left here. What I thought, or what it felt like when I swatched them the very first time, when I shared the haul with you, which you should have seen by now. Same here. Look at this. Look at how this this ink falls off this nib. Document. And I'm not sure if this is even usable in an extra fine nib. What nib size? How would this feel? The one ink that this reminds me of is actually Birmingham Pen Co. Cold Steel. That one bled through my Tomori River paper. And that fell off the nib like this as well. What? It looks purple. Does it have a sheen? I don't know. We will see. Wow. Look at the comparison. I'm like, this looks like a marker. Atramentis. I can't even write the word. If the ink doesn't follow the nib like this ink, I would be able to squeeze in the document, but I'm not able to. Blue-black. And then I'm just going to write document. What the heck? Why is this? Like, what's in this ink to make it like this? Let's check the back. No, not here. I wasn't able to pull it all the way up, but that's so interesting. I'm really curious how the others perform. Luckily, this is a 4 milliliter sample, so I can try it in my, what is this nib? Reverse Architect that was ground by Kirk Spear. The reverse side. So this is Architect. This is really very extra fine, extra fine. And I want to see, oh, you can't see me pointing to the vial. Want to see what this looks like. Then there. then let's do the last two. 19 minutes plus 10 is... And I need to come back and tell you about the... This is why I don't really want to do swatching videos in real time, because I always talk so much. I chat like I have no real life friends, and the only people that I can talk to is you. And so, well, actually, I'm outing myself. That's basically true. Definitely true in the sense of I don't have any real life fountain pen nerd friends that are close to me that I could talk to all the time like I can to you. Can you still see? Yes, you can. Oh, I'm also filming this with my new to me lamp, the canvas lamp. If you're a creator and you have that lamp, let me know what your favorite settings are and how it works for you. I am getting used to it. It's not as great in the sense of sturdy as I had hoped it would be. But I'm also curious about the light settings that you use. I have not ever used a light before this because I just filmed when there was natural light. There is still natural light, but the setting thing says to use it even though there is natural light to make it even better, which I'm not opposed to. And so I'm curious to know how the light settings work for you. So if to go by anything, if this is anything to judge, this is the exact same way the blue looked on the paper here. So let's put this on here. No, it's not as thick. Document black. So it feels to me like it's coming off the nib similarly, but not as wet as the blue. Let's try the things. I'm always trying to go really deep, and again, depending on the wetness of the ink, I assume it's the wetness of the lubrication of the ink, it works and sometimes it doesn't. And then I adjust Atramentis document black. Have you tried any of the Atramentis document inks? And if yes, how do you enjoy them? Which one is your favorite? I have seen there is I saw one that sounded, I think it said red black, black red, red black. I'm not sure. Wow, look at this. I'm cleaning this and it's black still. So I need to pull out my rag. And then let's see if this helps. Yep. Let's see if the grooves are still. It looks... So what I don't like about blacks that aren't really 100% black, and this definitely isn't, this looks brown. Dark, dark, dark brown to me. And that's... It's like a document dark brown. It's not a document black. I would prefer this, but look at how this looks when it looks like even when I was experimenting with the White Lightning. That's how it looks. Well, okay. I would prefer something like this or a brown that is actually brown, and then I know that it's not going to look black, but when an ink goes down as brown, but it's called black. That's something that I'm like, ugh, I don't like that. That's not my favorite. What was it going to say? Of course, there's also a difference in, is it actually even visible when using that in a fountain pen, especially in a really extra fine line? Would you even see that it was anything else but black? So yes, I might be hesitant to try and already have opinions, but I have learned from doing all of those experiments here that sometimes these judgments, being judgmental is okay, but being open to trying it anyway and being surprised, letting yourself be surprised, sometimes is of the utmost importance, for real. I've been very pleasantly surprised just recently during 30 Inks 30 Days by many of the inks that I tried. Most of the ones that I tried and I was pleasantly surprised were the boring inks, but there was specifically two that I remember. The Sailor Manu Fuji that I was really afraid of because I had feared it would be too light, turned out to be amazingly legible in the pen that I put it in. And then Wearingeul King Lear, which is also a super light green gray with shimmer, but the shimmer wasn't prominent in my sample. It was super lovely. I still have it in my, oh my gosh, I can't even write without the ink. Mentis Document Brown. So I really like how this brown looks. It's a red leaning brown. I'm not sure if there's undertones of green inside. I like how it looks when it's really saturated. The question, oh well, so here's my theory. Often when you have these saturated colors, when you put them in finer nibs, they are very light, more like the first layer right here. However, because they seem, how do we write? Yeah, they seem to be really wet. So it could be that that will make the ink look more like this. If that's a fine enough line for me, I might really buy a bottle of this ink. The reason why I'm starting this experiment is because I really love platinum carbon black ink. However, I'm not cleaning my pen all the time, especially, and the thing is that the nib, here you can see this is basically dried on, and I really need to scrub with my fingernail to get this off. It feels like it's partial nail polish. And if I put this ink in a different pen, this is essentially what the nibs, or it might be on the feed where it goes into the housing, into the section here, there might be a black line. So you can actually, it just leaves stains. It doesn't do anything to the pen, but on the nibs I have seen that there is stains, and I would love to find a replacement for carbon black where I don't have to do that. To know that if I use this ink in a pen, it will definitely stain it at some point. And yeah, that's why I'm doing this experiment. I want to see what these look like in extra fine nibs and how I enjoy or like journaling with them, because they're colors, so it's not going to be the same experience as with black. But I will see you in a second when I'm done doing the chromatographies for the yellow inks. While I was waiting for the things to dry, I pulled this off here. I pulled out the color wheel that I want to base my color swatch book number 555 on, and I'm going to make these 12 categories and then put all the page numbers on here as well. But let's open this and look at, I have these wooden things that my son made, and I'm clipping these paper clips on, and then I'm just folding them a little up so they don't touch the wood. Then I'm clipping them on there and waiting for them to dry, and then I just stand them upright somewhere. Okay, so Diamine Sunshine Yellow, Van Diemen's Beeswax, Rohre and Klingner, Helianthus, and Robert Oster Sunset. Well, what do I reckon? I don't see any so what I find interesting about this this one here is that there is a separation of some pink-ish down here. Then there's yellow, and then we have this orangey line that dried up here. I'm not sure if that is because it wasn't able to separate more because all the water had dried, but this doesn't look close. Van Diemen's Beeswax, which is over here. We don't even have to talk about that this isn't the same color. And then, which one is this one? This one is Diamine. I mean, I still feel like this is the closest resemblance here with those. I never wrote with it. It was not enough. These four are similar. I mean, here you can see the honeybee eater chin. There is no pinkish hue at all. And then what else? Robert Oster Sunset. There is some darker shades. I feel like even though these chromatographies aren't the same, these inks look very much similar to me. So I was pulling out, nope, let's go this way. Star Spattered Hill. Candlelight is also one of those that I find very similar to Robert Oster Yellow Sunset. The Buttered Popcorn. On this one it isn't, but I remember, and you can clearly see that I used my, did I have my brass nib then? There is Van Diemen's Honeybee Eater Chin. Diamine Sunshine Yellow. I hope I still have the mystery ink in here. Okay. Helianthus is still the same. Then Lammy Mango. And then this is the mystery ink. I still feel it looks very close to Honeybee Eater Chin. But I think this sample was sent before this ink even came out. And what was the other one that I really thought it was? No. What do you think now that we have all of the yellows here? Which one do you think it looks closest? I feel like I don't even have to show this beeswax here. This is even this color doesn't look anything like any of the others on here. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm much smarter than I was before I started this swatching experiment today, but I'm glad I finally got it in the books. The only reason why I don't think it is Helianthus is because I remember, so when I put on Helianthus, I didn't even have a first swatch color, if that makes sense. Sometimes when I'm using the cotton swabs, and even if it's completely saturated, I put it on and it goes on really light, and then I have to redip, reapply, and that's how these different layers appear. There's one right here. Yeah. But with this application, I didn't have to do that because it was so wet that it went down right away. Okay. Now, the only one that I don't have is Lamy Mango, but I really don't think that this is it. This looks too buttered popcorn and candlelight and yellow sunset-y, in my opinion. Wouldn't you know that I only purchased those ink samples because I wanted to do this experiment? And I'm not sure I'm satisfied. And to be honest, I'm going to, if you would like to try any of these inks, I think the one that I don't really know that I want to try any of those. Maybe the Sunshine Yellow. I know that I don't enjoy the Helianthus. So if you would like any of these three, or all three of them, for any kind of experiment, please let me know. I'll send them over. I haven't done any comparisons of these inks. What I find really cool about this color comparison notebook, and what I shouldn't have done it in this book. I should have put it on individual cards, especially since I'm sticking them on the back here. I should have put, like, to turn it around, because now I can't even cut them apart because this is on the back of them. But it would be cool if I would be able to just pull out the ones that I really like and have them maybe in a big binder or so. Let's check for similar colors for these. When you turn this on, this lamp, the holder that I'm talking about, the canvas lamp, does it go back to pre-setting, or is it just the last time you turn it on, that's what it looks like? I think this is still too dark for this brown page. I don't have any black comparisons, but I want to check to see if I find any blues. Here. I think that the blue-black looks very similar to Birmingham Penco Cold Steel. I remember how this fell off my dip nib as well. And the J. Urbain Bleu de Profondeur, it's also very similar. I'm gonna do, after this video, I'm gonna put those in here as well. I decided I'm not going to continue with the bigger separation, so I'm just going to find the empty blue page that is somewhere here and put this on here as well. But I thought I had a dark brown here somewhere, darker brown somewhere here. I really want to try the melon tea in a pen sooner rather than later, and the winter wood. Every time, you know what the funny thing is? Every time I flip through these books, I feel like it's maybe smoky quartz. It's so different here and here. I feel I can see similarities with all of those, but in this one, it doesn't look anything like these. Every time what is this color even? Is this purple? How is this compared to Seize the Night? But then where is Seize the Night? Here. Different. But it's not, yeah, this is more purple brown. Is there such a color as purple brown? I'm waffling, but yeah, every time I flip through all of my different Swatch books, I see inks that I want to use. So that's another bonus point for these books. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me. I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye.